Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farba. Now, the government in Warsaw is temporarily restoring controls at Polish borders with Germany and Lithuania, citing not only uncontrolled migration, but also rising incidents of civilian patrols and far-right activism. The move, announced by Prime Minister Donald Tusk, has reignited debate across Europe about borders, sovereignty, and what it means to belong in the Schengen zone. With the far-right amplifying fears and citizen-led defense groups taking matters into their own hands, the situation is becoming more than just a policy issue. It's turning into a test of values. Now, to help us unpack the broader implications of all this unfolding story, we're joined now by Rafal Pankowski, co-founder of Never Again Association and a professor at Collegium Civitas University, Warsaw. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hello.
I want to begin with just the basics right now. For looking at this border flashpoint, in particular in Germany and Polish border, do you see this as a migration crisis? Is this a political spectacle? Is it something else? What's your first takeaway from all this?
Well, I do not think there is any major crisis on the Polish-German border. The only crisis I can think of is the presence of the far right strong arm groups that are well, apparently successful in influencing the government policy.
Let's talk a little bit about these so-called citizen patrols. This has been causing quite a bit of a stir. There's also footage online circulating about how they're going about this. People are concerned. Tell us a bit how this has come about, what's behind this, and what are the authorities supposed to do now, given this very rather tense situation?
Well, you see, of course, there are different issues related to the movement of people between Poland and Germany within the Schengen zone. I think it is really unfortunate that people, human beings, are used as a kind of football between Poland and Germany in this case, which is also an issue that is very much exploited politically by far right groups that are clearly trying to instrumentalize this issue and instill fear among the people that the people who might be prone to xenophobia, and in many cases we are witnessing racism that is very clearly invoked by far right leaders and politicians in Poland, who in recent days and weeks have been very busy promoting the idea, promoting the fear of African people being transported, in this case from Germany to Poland, as a kind of threat, which again I would say is very unfortunate, and the hate speech also leads to hate crimes. And as the Never Again Association, we have noted several racist crimes on the Polish side of the border, which we believe is a direct result of this campaign.
I want to ask you as well, because, I mean, as you mentioned, with these citizen groups taking the law into their own hands in a way, is this now, are you seeing an uptick here, as I already asked you earlier, of more legal migrants coming from the German side? Is there data for that, or is this a matter, as you said, simply of wrongful perception?
Well, it is actually, difficult to have any reliable statistics on migration in Poland in general, including the the issue we are talking about. But in this case, we are probably talking about, hundreds or thousands of cases, but it's still in the low thousands. So it's not a mass. It's not a mass phenomenon, contrary to what the right and the far right politicians are trying to tell us. Poland is of course, as we know, it's a big country, close to 40 million people. So in no way we are talking about a big challenge to Poland's identity, and what we witness is definitely the issue of manipulating the perception, and I think it is very, very interesting and also very dangerous to see how media, and especially the social media platforms, are used and abused in order to instill fear, and especially the fear of blackness, the fear of black people entering Poland, and those people are being targeted as a supposed threat to Poland, which of course is absurd, but as a tool of political mobilization, it seems to be working.
And as you said, I mean, there's a lot that's worrying here. I just also want to ask a little bit further in terms of the legality of all this. I mean, you have citizen and social activism, and then going that line on the other side of unlawful detention. I mean, that is a fine line here. And where's the justification here? What are authorities going to do about it? As you said, there's influence of the media as well, of certain political groups. I mean, this is a very tricky area. How do you think that this will now work out? What should authorities do in all this?
Mhm. Well, thank you for pointing it out. I think this is a very critical point. The role of those, so-called citizens patrols or self-declared militias, the self-appointed vigilante groups on the Polish side of the border right now, composed of far-right activists, including some notorious individuals, also football hooligans, and people like that. If they are given, a free ride, if they are provided with space in which they try to fulfill the role of the state in terms of checking cars, passports, documents, looking for black-skinned people. This is outrageous. This must not be tolerated in a European country in the 21st century. And I think this is the biggest problem we need to face. And I think there is a lot of a lot of voices expressed in the last days, also yesterday, or also today, saying that the state must not tolerate the far right groups threatening people in the border area. This is completely unacceptable.
Right. I also want to talk about the state for a moment again. I mean, we know now that this is now coming into effect on the 7th. Prime Minister Donald Tusk has said these controls, he's calling them temporary. We've heard that before. And in fact, actually, it was the German side that has invoked temporary border control checks for some time, contravening Schengen for these exceptions. I mean, they don't seem to be just temporary. So I'm just wondering what your view is in all this in the longer term. Will this stay? Where do we go now in terms of Schengen? This seems like another very complicated border entanglement, which I'm sure will be a bigger European issue.
Well, I agree with you. This is a bigger issue, which is related to the general political climate in Europe. including both Germany and Poland, that is influenced by xenophobia and by the growing threat of the far right in the political context. And I think the governments, unfortunately, are also influenced by this xenophobic climate, which includes both Poland and Germany. Well, to start with, migration is a natural phenomenon that we have seen in human history for hundreds and thousands of years. And also we know that Europe needs migration, and that includes both Germany and Poland. And again, just speaking of Poland, we know that Poland welcomed hundreds of thousands of refugees from Ukraine, and people in Poland. We have been rightly proud of this welcome of the refugees from Ukraine, and no major human disaster resulted from that in Poland. So
well, at the same time, we'll have to, the debate on migration, what that means for Poland, for Europe, but that's a longer discussion we'd have to have another time. But look, right now, it is a very interesting and also worrying thing we see on the border with Germany and Poland. We'll see how the government reacts. Look, I want to thank you so much for all your insights, giving us more into this whole issue. That was our guest here, Rafal Pankowski.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay tuned, much more coming up right here on TVP World. Goodbye.